Hello, in this video, I'm going to show you how to visualize AlphaEarth satellite embeddings in 3D using LeafMap and MapLibre easily. So first, I would like to show you the demo. This is what it looks like. On the right side here, you will see the panel allows you to select what year of the satellite embedding you want to visualize. You can change the band combination. So in total, the satellite embeddings has 64 bands, and you can choose whatever band combination you want to visualize them on a 3D globe. You will also be able to compare different years of satellite embeddings side by side, from one on top and the other on a different data layer. You can also visualize them in 3D, so you can overlay the satellite embeddings on top of the terrain. You can also change the terrain exaggeration easily, so you can compare the different years of satellite embeddings on the same map easily. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you step by step how can you pull the data and then show them on 3D easily. Okay, so this is the demo. Next, let me switch to the notebook example. So I'm going to close this one here. And you will be able to download the notebook from here. It should be available in a couple minutes. You'll be able to find somewhere around here at AlphaEarth. So once you download the notebook, you can either run it one in Google Colab. You can open the link in Google Colab, or you can download to your local computer. So for this, I'm going to just run it on my local computer, so you can import the Google engine and also the LeafMap library. I also put a couple other resources here. If you want to learn more about the AlphaEarth satellite embeddings, you can check out the news release. So this was just released by Google DeepMind last week, and it's very transformative. It basically allows you to use the satellite embeddings and then compare them at different scale, different location, and different time. It was trained on a lot of satellite data, mostly satellite data including Landsat, Sentinel, SAR data, some LiDAR data. So there are a lot of data involved being trained on the model, and it's temporally consistent. That means you can compare location and time. You can see the diagram here. It's a very huge data set. I think for each tile, I think it's like 160 or 180 kilometers, something like that. And so for the entire globe, so for each imagery has 64 bands, 10-meter resolution. The uncompressed size is about, I think, 80 gigabytes something for each one. So in total, for the global scale for each year, it's like a couple hundred terabyte. And if you combine multiple years, so in total we have 7 years from 2017. This is where Sentinel-2 data becomes available. So 2017 all the way to 2024. So every year we have the satellite embedding at the global scale. The dataset is available in Google Engine, so you're welcome to check out the webpage here. This will give you more information. And this is all using the JavaScript. You want to use a JavaScript code editor, and it show you the basic information here, how many bands, and also how to access the data. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use that using Python and also LeafMap. So you can also visualize them 3D compared to just a 2D map. Also, there's a paper here. If you want to learn more about the technology behind the scene, then you're welcome to read the paper. It's a very long one, 64 pages, but it gives you all the detailed information, how the model was trained, what kind of data was being used, and it's pretty amazing. So also there's a tutorial here. If you want to check out using Google Engine, the JavaScript API, there's a lot of tutorial developed by Special Sorts, and you're welcome to follow them. You can also easily adapt this one using Python and GMap, but I'm going to show you using LeafMap. Also, there are some, like, you can do similarity search and also do clustering. So this dataset has a lot of applications. So you can do change detection, you can do lane cover classification. There are a lot of things you can do. So in this video, I'm just going to show you how to utilize the satellite embeddings. So once we import the library, the next step will be to just to authenticate Google Engine. If you don't have an account, you do need to sign up for a Google Engine account. So you click the link and it will take you to the web page. On the right here, just click Get Started. Then you'll be able to sign up using your Gmail account. So once you sign up, then you will need to figure out your Google Engine project ID. If you don't have one, you need to sign up, create a Google Cloud project. So for here, I can just run this one. You'll be able to authenticate. Make sure you change this one to your Google project ID. So in general, you can find it one in your Google Engine JavaScript code editor when you sign up for the account. Once we have this, now we can create a map. So I'm going to show you here. Oops, let me move this one to the right here. And so you can create a leaf map using the globe projection and just add the base map. For example, we can add the USGS imagery base map. And then the critical part here is the add AlphaEarth GUI. So this is the one that we want to show you the GUI here, and it's showing up on the right. So you can take a look the GUI here, very simple, straightforward. So what this one is doing is basically have the GUI that allows you to interactively select what year of the satellite embedding what you want to visualize. So on the right here, if you select, for example, the slider, this one will be able to show you, for example, the slider from 2017 all the way to 2024. You can also change the different band combination. This one is not really the spectral band, so it's just the satellite embedding different features. So you can think about each embedding layer. Is basically each band represents something. We don't know what it is. It's kind of like just like black box. So, but you can choose whatever band combination you want, and you can also choose the minimum maximum. So the value generally range from -1 to 1. So you can do -0.3 or 0.4, whatever you like, depends on the location. And you can also change the terrain acceleration, or you want to add the label on top or not. So for now, let's just try this one. For example, I can just select year 2020 and then just simply click apply. You will be able to acquire all the data from Google Engine and then mosaic them, then using the band combination that we choose to visualize them. So think about here, this is a huge data set. So right now what we are visualizing here, this one is I think several hundred gigabytes of data, so it's pretty big. But we can visualize them pretty much easily using just a couple clicks. And you're welcome to, for example, go to zoom to any location. You can press shift on your keyboard and then drag the mouse. You'll be able to see that. And so you can also drag your mouse. You'll be able to see the terrain like this. It's pretty cool. So this is all open source. So the behind the scenes is using LeafMap and MapLibre to visualize the data. So you can see it's pretty easy. And so this is just the satellite embedding for year 2020. It's global scale. So you can also turn the layer on and off here. You can change the opacity if you want. So this is all interactive. One thing you can try is also to change the satellite, the terrain exaggeration. That means by default it's just 2. You can change to 1. It's going to become a little bit more flat, and this is pretty cool, right? So it's in real time. So you can change the if you're looking at area that is relatively flat, then you might want to increase the terrain exaggeration here, just to show you what it looks like. So again, the color doesn't really mean anything. It's just showing you if there's similar color, that means the features are similar on this particular band, the particular embedding features. So there are 64 different data layers. So for example, I can change another one. So I can change maybe to, let's say 12, another one maybe 40, and maybe 60. So it's going to change. So for example, this one, you can change the data layer name if you don't want to override. So if you want to compare different band combinations, so this you might want to change, for example, to B, for example, or A or B, whatever you like, and then just click apply. You will be able to pull the data there. So right now what you're seeing, this is a different band combination of the data layer. It's totally different. So like I said, every layer represent different features, so you can change them, you can compare them side by side. Again, I don't know what it is. Later I want to show you how you can compare. You can do change detection on different years of data. So this is how you can compare the same year, different band combination. I can also change the different years. So for example, I can switch the slider to the right. So right now we are trying to visualize the embedding for year 2024. So if you click apply, you see it looks like this. Although it's kind of similar, but you can certainly see the color, it's just slightly different. So the 2024 is a little bit darker. So the darker color is kind of a low value. So you can see, compare them side by side here. Also, you can zoom out to the global scale. So if you want to just see that in a flat map, you can click this button. It's going to change to 2D web Mercator projection. And if you click the one here up this north arrow here, it will basically flip them to pointing to the north. And this is how you can load the data easily and also visualize them easily. And there's one here called add label on top. That means right now we have visualized the data. You will see the label, for example, United States. But if you don't want to see the label, for example, you don't want to see the cities or the states, then you can uncheck this one. If you click apply again, the label should not show up. So basically the imagery covers the label. So the label still exists. If you click uncheck this one, it's still here. But the difference is right now the label is beneath the imagery layer. So this might give you a much better look if you just want a clean layer without the label. Right now you still see something in here. It's because the layer have not fully generated yet, and so you still see the label. If you want to turn it off completely, you can click the background layer, and then so in that way it doesn't have the label. So right now this is just the entire globe without the label. You will see, depending on your internet speed, sometimes it's like kind of buffering because it takes some time. So this imagery, like I said, is a couple hundred gigabytes, so it's pretty big. So it's just using Google's engine to render the tile and then visualize the data layer. All right, so this is how you visualize the data, but you might be wondering, like, what can we do with this data set, right? It looks good, looks cool, but how can we use it? What kind of applications? So next, I'm going to show you just a simple applications, how you can do kind of a similarity research. So you can, if you're trying to do, for example, let's say change detection. So you want to see agriculture, for example, how do the agricultural field change from year to year? Then this might be something you can try. So I'm going to create create another map. So right now this is just a global map, and then we added the USGS satellite imagery base map, and then we can pick a particular location. For example, if you already know the latitude and longitude of the location that you want to look at, then you can set the center to that particular location. So this is an area dominated by agriculture. So for example, you want to see, okay, year by year, how do the agriculture change, which page, which location, like they change in general from this satellite embeddings. So what we can do is to just create an Earth engine geometry, and then we're going to filter the data to this particular location, because the data set is huge. So don't try to run it at a global scale. It's going to be pretty slow. So what we're trying to do here is to look at this entire image collection and then filter by date and also by geometry. So what we're doing is filter to 2017 and also 2024. So basically from the beginning of the satellite embedding and also the end, we also filter by zero location, filter by the points, and then just give the first one. So what we're doing here is just to get those two images that intersecting with this location. Once we have that, then we can specify the visualization parameters. Again, this is up to you what you want to use. You can do them 0 all the way to 63. So in total, we have 64 bands. After that, you just add the layer. So the imagery, the visualization, and also you can give the year embedding the layer name, and that's it. So take a look. Now, if you go back to the map above, this is what we have. So the year 1 is basically the 2017. Year 2 is the 2024. So we have 7 years in between. You can see the differences. So this is what it looks like. And the embedding the imagery, this is the size of the imagery. It's pretty big. So about 180 or 160 kilometers. So it's a pretty big size and at a global scale. So this one uncompressed, I did the calculation, it's around like 80 gigabyte. So the file size is huge. You don't really want to download this one to a computer. It's better to run this one on Google's engine, because if you download it, it's going to take a while, and even if you can download the data, it's going to take a lot of resources to open the data. So, and again, this is what it looks like. So it's 2 different years, and you can certainly see in the agriculture here, you have more changes compared to the mountains. The mountains color kind of pretty stable, and the agriculture, you can see a lot of changes in this kind of location. So what we can do here is to use these satellite embeddings to calculate the changes. And it's very simple. Just use the dot products. If you want to learn more, the data set here, the web page have some information. So I just adopt this, but there are a lot more applications you can do. So what it's doing is calculating the angle between those two embeddings, so the vector. So the smaller the angle, basically there's no difference, no change. The larger the angle, so that means there's more changes. So what we have at the end is to visualize the changes. So if you go back to this one, the dot product, and then just calculate the sum. Once you have that, you can visualize the changes. So this is what we have here. Oh, it's actually here. So so right now you should be able to see this is the layer after we do the dot products. So the brighter the color, that means the higher the value, that means there's not much changes. The darker the color, that means there's changes between these 2 years. So you can turn this one on and off here. You can clearly see there are some changes in those agricultural fields. And if you look at the satellite imagery, it looks like this. So this is the similarity. So you can see the changes in this area. And the method is like applicable to anywhere. So you can look at any location on the surface, and then you can pull the data, and then you can just calculate and you can see the changes. And this is basically the similarity layer after you do the dot products. But there are many more here. I would recommend that you check out the tutorial. And there's a series tutorial here showing you how to, for example, do unsupervised classification, supervised, and you can also do similarity search. All the source code pretty much very similar. You can adapt that one easily to using Gmap or using LeafMap or just using the Google Sensing API directly. It's pretty powerful, but certainly there are some limitations. So for example, the data only covered from 2017 to 2024. If you're trying to do lane cover for 2025, the embedding is not available. So you need to maybe incorporate the data into the satellite embedding 64 bank, and then you can have some additional banks from your imagery, and then you can do maybe have some label, then you can do some supervised classification. But this is the limitation that it doesn't capture the seasonal changes or monthly changes, weekly, because it's basically aggregating all the data for the entire year and then generate the embeddings for the features, basically capturing the variation, but it doesn't give you all the detailed changes if the temporal frequency is not high enough for you. So, but if you're doing lane cover classification, it's probably fine because it doesn't change a whole lot. It maybe only change once or twice during the year. But if you have some major disasters that's happening, then you might need some recent data. Then you can utilize this one, but it's not going to be perfect. So sometimes you might need to just to use some deep learning techniques to change the model. Anyway, so this is what I want to show you. I hope you find it useful, and you can try it out for your different location, and looking forward to see how you utilize the data to do some cool applications. Okay, so that's all for this video. I will see you in the next one. Take care.